Well, that was an irritating four-parter. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna confess something to you guys. I don't like this four-parter. Like, hardly at all. I will say this much. This is not going to be a rant view, okay? We've seen what I am like when I'm in rant view mode, and right now wouldn't be a very good idea for that. Anyways, but this is not rant view status. This is not, and but this is another face-off scenario where the sub absolutely saved this four-parter from being rant view status. So as it sits, the sub got a few more points. Now, I only say 4 because part 1 is fucking stupid in both, but we can get into that as we go. So we're introduced to Duke Devlin, aka Ryuji Otogi. And can I just say, I've never liked this character. Now, admittedly, that's mostly the dub, but he is not much better in the sub. Like, he is better, but that's mostly just because he starts to that's just because the writing makes him consider if he's wrong, and then it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm wrong. The problem is that he's such a dick about it, especially in the dub. Oh my god. And then his entire characterization is going to be to berate Tristan and to hit on Serenity. Spoilers. I've already made the joke using the self-insert fanfiction series. Let's just move on. So, I'm gonna be all over the place with this one just because I haven't got much to say. I'll just be honest. This is probably gonna be an extremely short one. But let's start with the fact that the sub gives us. Gramps is 72. I gotta be honest with you, I did not know that. I knew he was old, but I didn't know his exact age. It's kind of nice. I'll start with part 1, and then I'll get into my big spiel about Dungeon Dice Monsters after part 1, is how I'm going to structure this. So, the dub has Duke not be interested in money, and then the sub kind of has Otogi just be like, don't pry into my affairs, of the assistant dude who's there for, like, only in part 1, and then he vanishes for, like, ever more. Whatever. Moving on. So then we find out that Serenity is recovering, and Joey is using all the money for the operation. Good on you, Joey. Which is also why he's delivering newspapers, which, as we've already established in the sub, is against school rules, which is still weird to me and is probably a cultural thing. I'm not mocking it. I'm just saying I don't understand it. There is a difference. There's a difference between not understanding something and and mocking it. I am, of course, not going to mock it because it's probably a cultural thing, you know. But in this one, they actually in the Japanese version, they actually have Jinochi say that he got special permission to have his newspaper delivery service job, and there was an ad for DDM in the paper. So that's actually kind of nice. I like that. Also, so Duke screws around with Joey, and then Joey mentions, oh, unless you got telekinesis, you're not going to be able to move the dice into your right hand without touching the cup. Then he tricks Joey into lifting up the cup, which lets Duke grab the die with one hand, and oh look, he has the die in his right hand without moving the cup. Yeah, that's the tactics of a con artist. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, which is also part of my issue with Duke in this one, because instead of handing Yugi a rule book for when he challenges him to DDM, he just starts the game and doesn't let him restart the game, even though it's like one turn in, and it would not be that difficult to just reset. Like I'm sorry, but I mean, we'll get into that more when we get into part 2, when we get into the rest of this, when we get out of part 1, but yeah. So then Joey is challenged to a booster pack duel. Also, what is with Joey being a creeper in this Japanese version of this episode? Like, okay, I get the idea is supposed to be that Joey is in the wrong and he's going to pay for his mistake. That makes sense, but the extent Duke goes through it is just really that both the episode and Duke, the lengths that both go to try and do this are frankly assholic, because it paints Joey as being a complete and utter fucking, well, there's no nice way to say this, it paints him as a misogynistic pig. What the fuck are you trying to pull, episode? Now, the dub, of course, downplays this because, the dub removes all sexual content of any variety, even including, your fans have to be my fans if I win, which is just levels of messed up I don't even want to get into. All I'm going to say is, this is not the last time Joey is going to be treated like shit, and it's going to piss me off every fucking time because it's so fucking irritating every fucking time. And I know I've dropped a lot of F-bombs there, but you have to understand something. This is not funny. This episode tries to play this up as the Joey dog costume thing as this hilarious thing, when it is the fucking definition of bullying. And considering I was a victim of bullying in school, gee, I wonder why this pisses me off as much as it fucking does. But, in the interest of fairness, they only play it up. They play it up way more in the dub than they do in the sub, with how they play it up with the dialogue. So most of it is just telling Joey to shut up in the sub. Okay, you know what? I'm with that. Right up until the loser dog comment, and then I just yell, "Fuck you, episode!" Sorry. I really don't like this episode. I made that clear, so I'm gonna try not to be shouty, but oh god. Yeah, there's a reason why I waited until after watching the Lore Runner's current TOS rumination to start watching these episodes. So then they decide they're going to duel by building decks by pulling booster packs and then creating their decks out of that. Yugi is against this, and I don't fucking understand why. He says in the sub specifically that it's because it's all down to luck. Yugi, look, I know you can't tell the future, but did you watch Joey throw Duelist Kingdom? Because I did. I've been spending the last, 26 videos or whatever talking about this. Joey's style is gambler, as in luck. How many fucking times has he relied on Time Wizard to bail him out? A lot. I can name 2 duels that Time Wizard didn't bail him out. 2. In 45 episodes. Now, granted, he did not duel every single episode. I will quickly count. out, right? Let's see. How many duels did you have, Joey? Let's see. 6. And then I think that's it. Yeah, because he doesn't duel past that. So 6 duels. And I'm actually wrong. He did not rely on his luck relying did not happen in 3 duels. Or at the very least, Time Wizard did not bail him out 3 separate times in 3 of those duels. Half of his duels have been reliant on Time Wizard bailing him out. Actually, I'm wrong. 4 times he didn't bail him out, but he also relied. There's literally only 2 duels where he didn't rely on Time Wizard to bail him out. Oh, where he no? Actually, I'm wrong. One duel where he didn't rely on Time Wizard bailing him out. And yeah, I know Scars of Defeat. I wasn't counting Scars of Defeat, admittedly, because that yeah. So if you want to get technical, 7, he tried to have Time Wizard bail him out in all but one of them, or all but 2 of them, excuse me, and Time Wizard failed him. It did not bail him out. Failed to bail him out on 4 separate occasions. Right? 2 again. 2 of those being because he didn't play Time Wizard. So if we remove those he relied on Time Wizard 5 of his 7 duels. In other words, he relied on luck 5 out of 7 times. And the only reason it failed on the last one was because, well, it was rigged against him. So yeah, no, booster pack dueling is actually more about deck building. Yes, luck of the draw is still a thing, but it's actually more about deck building at that point rather than anything else. So yeah. Also, why the hell does Joey want Duke's shop closed? That makes no fucking sense. I mean, Joey's condition in the frickin' sub is fucking misogynistic and awful. Awful, but it's at least somewhat understandable. Only until only until a certain rewrite that may or may not have actually gotten started by this point, in which case I basically take Joey's misogynistic tendencies and toss them out the window because I would prefer to not have to rely on the viewers overlooking obvious gross bullshit. Anyways, let's see. What do we got here? What else do we got here? So they duel and Duke surprisingly uses Oni Tank, a bunch of some machine monsters. He specifically uses Oni Tank T-34, Spikebot, and Gradius, aka Vic Viper. It's actually kind of, which, by the way, yeah, this anime, this is not the last time the Gradius. Okay, I was worried I stopped recording. Anyways, this is not the last time that Gradius is going to show up. And not the last time that the card game itself, Gradius would not be the last time, by the way, that the card game itself would reference other stuff. There's some monsters that I forget their names like Azabisu or something like that. Future Alex will put up an image on screen of the monsters I'm talking about. But because I'll look them up later. But yeah, there's that. Oh, also vampires. Because Konami. I mean, let's face it. What is Konami the most? What franchises are Konami most known for, or were when they actually were a decent gaming company? Well, 3 come to mind specifically. Well, okay, let's not count Yu-Gi-Oh because this is a Yu-Gi-Oh video. So, outside of Yu-Gi-Oh, what 3 franchises come to mind immediately when you think Konami? Gradius, Metal Gear Solid, and Castlevania. So, Yeah. So Joey uses Mad Sword Sword Hunter and Mad Sword Beast, both really good cards. Duke counters with Mizujura, which is cool. Cool. And then he pulls out Fairy Meteor Crush, which Joey doesn't know about. And Duke in both versions mocks him for this. In the dub, he flat out calls Joey an amateur for this. Yeah. Flat out calls Joey an amateur for this. And can I just say I fucking hate that trope? Or that cliche, I guess, would be more accurate. I don't think it's a full on trope. I think it's just a cliche. But seriously, fuck that cliche. Oh, you don't know about this one thing. That makes you an amateur. No, asshole. That means he didn't know about one thing. I can name experts of a particular game that learn new things about the games every single fucking time they play it. I mean, for God's sakes, just to give a shout out that he will never see, Chugga Conroy was learning new stuff about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 after sinking hundreds of frickin' hours into the game across multiple playthroughs over the past. How long has that game been out? So, no. I'm sorry. Lack of knowledge equaling amateur is a fucking bullshit plot point. I've always hated that. Also, ditto being a big fan of a game but not hearing about its sequel. Because oh my fucking god, that is so stupid. And I flipped back a page, so I need to get back. There we go. So then Joey loses because Goblin Attack Force, which is a card he will actually use in the future. So props to continuity, at least in the fillers, because yeah, pretty sure this duel didn't happen in the thing. I actually meant I screwed this up because I just hit record as soon as the episode was done, but I actually meant to actually read through the Dungeon Dice Monsters thing in the manga in order to kind of compare and contrast. I'm not going to do that here. I think I'm still going to do that next time because next time actually combines elements from DDM in there. Like I said back in the Rebecca rant, it was like where I literally was like, what the hell is with these this string of episodes combining elements from the manga, right? Combining DDM elements from the manga specifically. So then Duke is an asshole and is chucking dice at Joey. See, this is where Duke crosses the line from, okay, he's amusing himself by making Joey wear a dog costume. Okay, hee hee ha ha. And Joey's willing to go along with it. Okay, whatever. Joey was being a bit of a misogynistic pig, so alright, this is his just desserts. I should be more clear. Jinochi was being a misogynistic pig, so this is his just desserts that unfortunately bleed onto Joey, but them's the breaks. Aches when you're a dub character, so okay. But the chucking dice, the assaulting Joey with dice thing, and the cheerleaders beating him up over the next 3 episodes is just too fucking far, in my opinion. Because it crosses the line from, okay, fine, whatever, to, you're a bully, Lily, and you should have a knife in your throat. Yes, I have a very extreme opinion of bullies. But, and maybe that's too far. Maybe I'm going too far with that assessment, but seriously, at least a baseball bat to the fucking back of the head. One. Not a hard enough blow to kill him, but just one good whack on the back of the head. You know? But of course, because this is fiction, this is shonen manga, we have to forgive the bad guy because forgiveness. Yeah, we'll fucking talk about that later because forgiveness is just as fucking poisonous as can be just as poisonous as revenge, in my opinion. Note I said can be just as poisonous as revenge, but we can get into that later. All right. let's talk about Dungeon Dice Monsters now. So, we are literally pausing the discussion of the episode to get into Dungeon Dice Monsters as a game. Now, they did actually try to bring Dungeon Dice Monsters into the real card game, or not. Sorry, I'm saying this wrong. Into the real world. Like, not in. Yes, it kind of came in the real card game via Orgoth the Relentless, but they actually tried to physically make DDM an actual physical game. It fell through mostly because of, from what I understand, based on three specific reasons. Nobody was carrying it, there wasn't as much advertising for it, and it was kind of expensive to get your hands on it. I'm actually reminded of stuff like Starlink and Skylanders, which are those toy portal um, games. Games. I actually have the controller for that. Give me the thing for that. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right. So these things. This is specifically the Switch version's model for Starlink. This is the stand for Starlink. Now, you're probably wondering, why the hell is there an R-Wing with a little mini Fox McCloud? Well, because Starlink had a promotion with Nintendo that the Switch version was going to include the ability to have Fox McCloud in it. And yes, I am one of those people who says that Starlink is the best Star Fox game we have ever had. Sue me. Yes, I do say it's, and yes, I do seriously say that it's better than Star Fox 64. Although Star Fox 64 is damn impressive, don't get me wrong. And I just don't adore it like everybody else, you know? DDR had. DDM had the potential to be similar, in a similar vein to that. But again, lack of marketing, lack of push, and yeah, it just was not successful. And then Duke's gonna hang around in season 2. Duke's gonna come out and help us out. Is going to come to us. Is going to join the crew for whatever reason. Again, it's like, why? And I know he's technically there in the manga too. I don't understand it in the manga either. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. But whatever. Like I said though, DDM could have actually have gone somewhere if they had to bother to push it. And it probably would have helped if there wasn't a grind, if the only other, exposure people had to DDM in the video game world was a grindy as hell GBA game. Then again, that's always been the problem with a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games over the years, especially frickin' the Dungeon Dice Monsters game and Forbidden Memories on the PS1. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a nasty habit of being grindy as hell. Some of the GBA ones have actually been decent, but they lack content as a result. In other words, the only reason you play some of them is the novelty of using cards to duel opponents from the series. Yeah. But I digress. Anyways, that's all I have to say about DDM as a real card game. I do like the layout. I do like the idea of the gameplay. The matching crests, as the crest pools, the movement, the dungeon path. As all of that is actually really engaging and interesting stuff. The problem is that, at least in the series, is Duke explains it as they go along, and it's really effing stupid in my opinion. I mean, again, like I said, Duke does not give Yugi a manual so that he can use it, except for like a little help screen that Yugi has to use, and he doesn't even start using until part 3. Anyways. Uh, so Also, in the dub, they make Duke even worse in the dub. This is also why the sub gets all the points for the actual Dungeon Dice Monsters game, by the way. Because Duke is way too much of a fucking asshole. And it's funny, in the sub, Joey is the misogynistic pig. In the dub, it's Duke. Duke is the misogynist. Because he is basically looking at Taya like, yep, you're going to be my new cheerleader. Or when I win. She wasn't part of the deal, asshole. Now, granted, there might be some future plans that maybe he would try to convince Taya to be his girlfriend or whatever, but no, just another little check mark, just another little thing to add to the list of things to be rewritten in a certain project that may or may not be going live. We will see. Yes, it's in part 2. So yeah, halfway through part 2, he finally starts to explain what his deal is. And in both versions, he accuses Yugi of cheating. Oh my god. Can I just say I fucking hate this plot point? I really fucking hate this plot point. This "you're a cheater, Yugi" plot point is really fucking stupid. And the reason it's really fucking stupid is because he has no fucking proof. And again, we, the audience, are not on Duke's side on this one, in either version. Why? Mind scan. As in, the Millennium Eye. The thing that Pegasus was using to cheat. And they keep hammering this point in. The dub is admittedly worse than the sub. Yet another reason why I hate the sub got all the points. Almost all the points, because part 1 can go to hell in both versions, by the way. And one of the many reasons why, if I was looking at just the dub, by the way, this would be a rant view. This would absolutely be a rant view status, because the dub is so fucking god awful with this. It's like, oh my god, I remembered hating this episode. Again, like I said, all I've seen front to back is the dub. So I remember hating this episode back in the day, and oh man, the dub just delivered on that. Ugh. We also learned that Pegasus modified DDM, and so some of the modifications he didn't tell Duke, because, or at the very least, Duke didn't read over the memoirs because he wanted to be surprised. At least that's what the sub tells us, which actually makes no sense in the dub when we get to part 4, but we can get there. So then we start the next chapter, part 3. So this is where Duke traps Yugi with the dungeon path and starts the warp vortex combo, which Yugi then counters when he gets a rare black die. That's actually a nice touch, and I actually like that, using your opponent's strength against them kind of thing. Which gets the Strike Ninja, which is a monster that Duke's going to use, ironically enough, to have to go up to get a couple of heart points while trying to deal with Orgoth the Relentless, which ends up just steamrolling through so much of Yugi's territory. By the way, my only note for part 3 in the sub is actually a Otogi, considering if he's wrong. Again, I know I'm a broken record by this point with this, with me saying that. I know I'm a broken record because I keep saying this, but this is why the sub got 3 points. Why the sub is in the lead with 14 preference points to the dub's 11. But anyways, So then we get to part 4, and this is where I have to comment on something in the sub, actually. The second opening. Part 4 is where the second opening starts. My note literally says, Shuffle, sub's second opening has arrived. Wait, what? Why? Because it basically flat out, it spoils the fact that, yeah, Yugi's gonna win this. Which is funny because so does the episode title, admittedly, but it's like, are you trying to entice us to keep watching for the next, however long until we finally start getting the Egyptian god cards showing up? Like, ugh. I thought the Rebecca thing was bad. I don't know. I guess they didn't want to spoil anything from this episode because Shuffle doesn't use any footage from the episodes like has been being used for the past few episodes. I will miss Voice. Voice is a good opening, but there it is. So they keep going on and on about how Yugi can't summon. Oh my fucking god. I can't put into words how much that pisses me off. Like, even as a kid, I was like, but he's got a space, like, right there. I mean, admittedly, when I first watched it, I was like, okay. Oh man, how's he gonna get out of this one? And then it falls perfectly into alignment. Now I look at that and I just go, it's right fucking there. If you're observant, you'll know how he's gonna do it. But whatever. So then Yugi dimensions Dark Magician. Duke is an idiot in the dub because, yeah. Dark Magician unleashes his attacks, which apparently gets rid of all of the monsters, which actually made me kind of think for a second, and actually it's true. All of the monsters are destroyed. The only thing that isn't destroyed is Monster Cannon. But of course, all of the ammo for Monster Cannon is gone because remember, Dark Assailant was the first bullet, and he was destroyed in order to try and destroy Dark Magician. So yeah. So then Dark Magician finishes Duke off. Yay. Also, by the way, this marks another first other than Shuffle, because in this episode, Atem actually refers to Yugi as both Yugi and Aibo, or partner, which is funny because Yugi actually adopts that too. At the end of the episode. So then Duke is humbled. They let Duke off the hook because again, they have to forgive him. Like, okay, I get that the infractions were very minor, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This is fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but in fact, if I had to keep Duke being a dick here and them forgiving him, I'd have one person like always hold this against him. Just to actually give some fucking consequence to this, right? I'd have Serenity find out about this in the middle of a date, and be like, oh, okay, dump, walk out, and never gives him the time of day again. Blow that out your ass. That's you fucking dice rolling prick. Also, the Japanese version has no hint of Pegasus. But of course, the idea being that he's still alive, Industrial Illusions is still active, and is able to just be active still because Pegasus actually managed to recover. Which is funny because it was actually left ambiguous up until season 3. But we can discuss that up until season 4, actually. It was left ambiguous. It kind of does hint that he's still alive, even depending on your perspective. But you do know a CEO doesn't run every aspect of the company. I mean, I know they do in fiction, but still. But that's it for Dungeon Dice Monsters. And that's it for Season 1, weirdly enough. So what do I think of Season 1 overall? Season 1 had some really good highs. It had some really obnoxious lows. I do think the quality of Season 1 has definitely gone down. Uh, Season 1 has definitely dipped in quality for me. Not to the point where I hate it, even though I literally had a fucking rant view in here. But I knew I was going to hate on Rebecca, so that's not a surprise. Now, if the sub had ended up pissing me off to the point where this video would have been a rant view, that would have shocked the hell out of me, because that would have been 2 rant views. We came close, but what's funny is we came close with 2 episodes. One of them succeeded. And one succeeded at being a rant view. So, but then again, those are the episodes I remember not liking. And yet there are episodes that I remembered not liking very much, Shining Friendship being the prime suspect there, and ended up liking it a whole lot. Even though I had more than my fair share of issues with Best of Friends, Best of Duelists, because, God, that was a pointless 2-parter. Oh my fucking God. But I do still enjoy Season 1. I just don't think I'm going to be going back to Season 1 anytime soon. Maybe at some point, but right now, I'm done with Season 1, and I kind of want to get the rules back up to snuff. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen next time, because next time is a 2-parter called The Mysterious Duelist in the dub. And I will have to decide whether or not my rant against Merrick is going to start next week, or until further on when we learn more of his motivations. We'll see, guys. We'll see. But trust me, I will be ranting against Merrick, because I know he's a beloved villain, but let's just say I don't like the fact that what I know about Merrick's backstory in both versions. Because it basically is the shining definition of Oscar Ava syndrome. Yes, I am going to dick you around, and I'm going to steal your title as Pharaoh, because my dad was a fucking asshole. And I'm not even gonna get into Yami Merrick until he fucking shows up, because, oh god, Yami Merrick. Oh my fucking god, Yami Merrick. Ugh. But again, rants for later, because we've got a lot of shit coming up. Like, just a lot of shit. Like, in fact, while I'm here, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull up the episode list, because I actually forgot to do that anyway, and it would be nice to be prepped for the next episode. So give me a moment while Crunchyroll loads. I swear I can talk. Okay, so yeah, season 2 is going to be in about 20. It is going to be, from the looks of it, 24 videos. Huh. That means season 2, if I keep going at the rate I'm going, I'm going to get through season 2 before these videos start going live. Okay, I think I'm going to hard abort that idea, because that's just nonsense. It's an interesting dichotomy out of me, because, yeah, 24 videos. Yeah, which means within a year I can get to season 3, because of my decision, and that's even including the fact that I shrunk the Ghost Kaiba three-parter. See what I did there? Three-parter to 2 videos. But yeah. Anywho, I'm just rambling at this point to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing. And that's it for me. So, next time we will start season 2 at very long last. I'm going to go ahead and chop this off. Wow, 3/4 of an hour for this. Oof. I mean, granted, I also padded it out a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, I will see you guys for season 2, and until next time, Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers signing out. Have a good one. Duel standby. Or I guess it would be Dice standby? Nah, fuck it. Duel standby.